Welcome back to the Self-Care Summit. And today I'm here with Susie Pearl, the best-selling author, podcaster, and coach. She's written a number of books. She worked as a producer, CEO, co-founder of Celebrity PRC in London, has looked after many music artists, Madonna, Michael Jackson, David Bowie. Oh my goodness. She has her degree in psychology, and she has spent over 20 years working in personal development. So I am so excited. Hi, Susie. It
Hi.
is so wonderful to have you with us. Oh my goodness, your accomplishments are just amazing. Today, our topic is going to be creativity.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I'm really so happy to be here and talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is creativity. Creativity, I think, is about being a human being and doing things in unique ways. Sometimes, particularly when I was talking about my creativity book with people, many people go, "Oh, but I'm not creative." Wrong. If you're a human being, you're creative. It's something, a gift we're given as a human being. And it's not about painting a beautiful picture or being able to work on a piano and create an amazing sound. It can be whatever those gifts are to you. And for me, it's about connectivity to the source of all that is. And when we do that, we feel fantastic. We get in the flow. Now, this can be anything from sewing, dancing, writing, whatever. But I believe my research is that everyone is creative.
Wow. That's the first thing people say is that, I don't have any gifts. I'm not creative.
Yeah.
You're creating every single day, right?
Well, your mind is a creative machine. That's what consciousness is about. We create every moment, don't we? And our thoughts, our actions, our beliefs, our feelings, these all merge together in this beautiful wash of consciousness to create our experience of being human. So for those of you who say, "But I'm not creative," I will say, you so are. You are being creative every moment. At this moment, you are being creative, just thinking about what you're thinking about and feeling what you're feeling about. And you're building your own creation that right there. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we have all been on a big journey in these last couple of years with what's been going on globally. And it's interesting that when everything else is taken away, our ability to socialize, go out, do all of these things that we were doing, traveling, and it's just us. People have been leaning into creativity massively now. And I've got used to being able to read and maybe pick up a pen and do some writing or some journaling and so on. So people have got in this mindset of getting into creativity when all else is stripped away. And I think that in itself is so interesting. It's never been such a hot topic as it is now, creativity. And it's something that so many people are reaching for. And it's part of self-care. When we allow ourselves to be our creative selves, it might be singing, speaking our truth, whatever it is. When we allow creativity to come through our bodies, we are giving ourselves self-care because that is who we are as a human being. We need to express who we are through different mediums, and creativity allows us that. So I think when you get into creativity, that is a big pillar of self-care.
Your most recent book, The Creativity, Powerful Habits to Unlock Your Full Potential. Share about the inspiration, what inspired you to write that book?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's this little beauty here that I wrote, and David Lynch was kind enough to give me a front cover quote. Bless his heart. He's one of my favorite creative souls. What inspired me? I had worked with a lot of famous people, as you mentioned in your introduction, and I wondered what is it about these very highly creative people, songwriters, musicians, artists, actors. What is it they all have? And I actually wanted to answer that question and find out and dig deeper into what creativity is about. And I'd run businesses myself, and I found myself in flow when I was being my most creative, when I was putting together people, ideas, concepts, and just creating things. That made me really happy. So I wanted to find out a bit more about that. And specifically, I wanted to find out where ideas come from. And I've been working with the David Lynch Foundation for quite a few years, helping get TM meditation out to the world, because it really helped me personally. When I was going through a tough time, I found meditation, and it sort of helped me and saved my life, really, and allowed me to find the quietness within that I wasn't able to have found in my very fast life. Many of us lead very fast lives. And I think when we slow it down, it's quite of a shock. So part of my inspiration for this was to put creativity on the map, to dig deeper into it, to help share the concept of how to get creative. When I first started writing it, I didn't realize that really everyone has this capacity and capability to be creative. It's really only digging deeper I found this. But it intrigued me that what is it that we turn on to get creative? That I wanted to answer that question. And I'd read this wonderful book by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way, that has been an inspirational Bible for many artists and creatives and filmmakers over the years. But it's quite old. It's 30, 40, I can't remember, but it's quite a long time ago it was written. And I love Julia. Wow, she's a beautiful spark. She is. And I thought I would love to do an update and my own twist on what creativity is and how to get into it and how to not make it scary and go, oh, I can't, I'm not a singer, I'm not a dancer or whatever. I wanted to make it accessible for everybody. And I hope that's what this book has done.
What inspires you creative? Like what are some of the things that inspire you to tap into creative energy of yours?
Yeah. Well, I am very motivated to write. I'm writing a memoir of my life at the moment. And I just love, Alfreda, sitting down and starting to write. I might not feel like it. I get a coffee on the go and some nice little nibbles on the go. And before very long, I'm in this wonderland. One of my favorite books is Alice in Wonderland. And I have this joy when I think about being in a wonderland. And writing takes me there. And so does music and many other things, and art, looking at art, takes me into that feeling. So my motivation really is feeling good. Being creative makes me feel good. And it connects me with people. I'm a great talk. I'm like you, I talk. I love a talk. And I feel like everyone I meet in life has some gift to give. And I have a gift maybe to share with them. So I like exploring that. I'm curious about people and life. And that leads me into being motivated to get creative. And writing this little book has connected me with the world. I mean, here we are, for example, talking now across the globe with wonderful people that I probably wouldn't have met if I hadn't have written this. So there are many, many good things to come out of getting creative.
I love that. I always believe that nothing is a coincidence and that everything is in divine order and that people are going to cross your path. And I mean, the idea of you and I, from totally different worlds, crossing each other's.
How exciting is that? It's amazing.
It is so amazing.
I'm with you. Everybody you meet, I love it to think of it. When you meet someone, think, what is this person? What lesson or gem have they got tucked away in their life story that can help excite me? And same with we are interacting people. That's why this pandemic has been so difficult for many. It is the fact we have lost interaction. We've lost the ability to see lots of people and talk and commune and be with each other. It's a wonderful gift. It's a gift to be able to share yourself with others and have others share themselves with you. And when we help each other, have compassion for each other, love each other, care for each other, and show our empathy with others, it's immensely healing and comforting. And if we all did that, the world would be such a beautiful place.
You discover that you're not the only person going through whatever it is that you have to go through. That's number. And then you also, I believe that life is an exchange system and that we all bring some good stuff to the table. And the table is set this morning, and look at the good stuff that you're bringing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I also love the fact that we never know what's going to happen in the day. You wake up. I live in Ibiza, which is obviously, it's a magical island full of artists, music, crazy things going on. But each day has a special quality. Like, I don't know what's going to happen today. I think I know what's going to happen. But actually, when I review it at the end of the day, I have my quiet time, I meditate, say some prayers, I think about my day. And I had no idea that it was going to be that way. And so there is this gift that we all have, which is a life that we just don't know what's around the corner, good and bad. And I also think I've learned to see the challenges as jewels and opportunities and reframe things into, how is this helping me?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it serve? How does it serve my life? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you had an amazing personal healing journey. Would you like to tell us a little about that and how it has impacted the way that you live today?
Yes, I would love to talk about that. So 3 years ago, I think it was, that sort of 3 or 4 years ago, I kept forgetting things. I couldn't remember where I'd parked my car. I went off to meet a friend for coffee in our regular place, and I couldn't remember how to get there. My neighbour said, "I'm worried about you, Suze. You know, you've been acting strange." I said, "Oh, I'm fine." Anyway, my behaviour began to get more strange, and she took me off to get checked in a hospital. And it turned out I had brain cancer. I had no idea. And I had brain cancer, and they said, "Right, you have a massive brain tumour, and we're telling you it's not our job to dress it up, make it sound nice. You've got about 3 or 4 weeks left. Get yourself in order, get your affairs in order, get your family here, and you've got to sort your life out because you're not going to be here very long." So that was like, it's a massive wake-up call. I had no idea this was going to happen. I was so surprised. But, I had this intuition, this deep inner knowing that I was going to be okay. And as I went into the scanner, I actually had a feeling of, I would describe it as angels come to me and say, "You're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. It doesn't look good. And you're going to have 3 scans. One is terrible. You're going to find something terrible. The second one, it will have shrunk. And the third one, it will have gone. And you will come out of this and write a book and inspire many, many people around the world with your story of healing." So I went into the scanner and I took this information. And the good news was that I believed it. And actually, that's exactly what happened. I had 3 scans. One was terrible. The second one was better. And the third one, my tumour had gone. And the doctor said to me, I was at Cambridge University Hospital in Cambridge in England. And these were leading oncologists in this field. And they said, "We have never seen anything quite as extraordinary as this. The tumour has gone. And we would not have expected that." And what happened, I went into my bed in the hospital one day and I kind of knew I was going to die. And I told the nurses, "I'm going to die today. Could you keep an eye on me?" And they said, "Suze, you're going to be all right. We've got you covered." I said, No, I think I will. And I went back into my hospital area, into my bed. I sat down and I felt my spirit really wanting to leave my body. And I had a near-death experience. I did leave my body and I was shown what heaven looked like. And then I came back into my body. It's called a near-death experience. Thousands of people have these, apparently, I've since discovered. But one of the aspects of it is that you come back with no fear, and you come back seeing the world very differently, which is what happened to me. And many cases you have an amazing healing, which I had. I completely healed in that one experience. Came back. Here I am. I feel like I'm a walking miracle.
No, you are a walking miracle. That is just amazing. It's amazing. What I get from that is that, we all have our intuition, our insight that, it speaks to us all the time, but very few of us listen. It's like, I'm speaking all the time, but we don't listen because sometimes we're so busy, our minds. I read this book that says we have 97,000 thoughts a day.
Yes.
And from that busy intersection, we try to make major choices and major decisions in our lives. And that's why sometimes we continue to have the same experiences over and over again because we don't listen. And so as I'm listening to you with the story, what I get from that is that you listened. You listen from within. That is so powerful.
Yeah. And right, two things to add to this. One is, before I went into hospital, I was acting crazy. I couldn't remember where my car is. I was running into trees, all of this sort of thing. So I thought, best not tell people about this experience of going to heaven, coming back, because, Suze, they'll think you are off your rocker, mental, and you won't get out of hospital. So I thought, I have to get out of hospital. I don't want them to think I'm nuts. So I zipped it. I didn't talk about it because I wasn't sure how other people would see this, but I knew it was real. And I had planned to write a book about intuition. Just before I went into this illness, I was planning and scoping out. I've actually done a book proposal about intuition. And so I had tuned into where I get my intuition from in my thoughts, which thoughts are intuitive and which thoughts are just the blah, blah, blah thoughts.
Yes.
And I've inquired a lot with myself about thoughts. And what are the ones that are really deeply meaningful? What are the ones we need to ignore? And I've learned that thoughts are really powerful. That thoughts can lead us into creating states within our body and creating experiences. We need to really listen to our thoughts. And certainly my story confirms that the power of intuition and thoughts is extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Absolutely. That is our inner guidance. If we learn to trust it. See, you trusted it.
Yes.
And most of us, it has to be solid for us to trust it.
Yes.
But you can really learn how to go within and to distinguish the voice and trust it.
Yes.
It will guide you. That's what I get from this experience that you're sharing.
And
wow.
You see, all the doctors said that I would die and I wouldn't survive. And my family were told this. And so everyone else believed that I would die. So if I'm saying, guys, I'm going to get through this, no one was believing me. Yes. So I was this lone voice. And I think a lot of people experience this in life, that you have a feeling you want to do something, but the crowd around you are all naysayers and saying, no, you're crazy. This won't work. Yeah. Or it could be, I'm starting a new business. And people say, that won't work. I remember when I was younger, I said to my brothers, I'm going to start my own business. They said, you're crazy. You just get a proper job. And, it's really hard to do that. But that was their belief systems on top of me. And I went off and I did start my business. And it's still running 20, 30 years later.
That is so powerful.
So we have to own our truth, find out where our truth is, quieten the mind to listen to the truth, and not be affected by what other people are saying. Yes. Really hold your light, hold your truth, hold your direction, because only you know your path, why you're here.
Exactly. And it's your truth. It's not their truth.
My truth is not your truth necessarily.
Susie,
we all have our own.
Yes, I tell people that all the time. This is what's working for me. Now, you have to figure out what's going to work for you.
Yes.
This reminds me, I read that there's a book that you're writing or you've written that says, I Lost My Mind.
Yes.
Oh my God. When I saw that, oh my God. I was so excited. I was like, what? Because you have to lose your mind.
You do. You have to let go of the monkey mind.
Yes.
The monkey mind can drive us mad. A lot of people have got anxiety. A lot of people are in fear. And that's your thoughts telling you this is scary. But actually, if you trust that you're looked after, you trust that there's a bigger force out there who looks after us, there is no need to have that fear. So, my new book I'm writing is my memoir, and it's called I Lost My Mind, which is exactly really what happened to me. I did lose my mind, and it went. And then I got it back, but I got back a new version of my mind.
Exactly. Bigger and better, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I knew that this was going to be exciting talking. Oh my God, because I tell people all the time, you have to lose your mind. Because your mind is what is so caught up with fear, with regret, with what you should have did, what you didn't do. And when you can let all of that go.
Let it go.
Oh my goodness, the possibilities are endless of what you can accomplish and where you can go. Yeah. I knew I was going to love you, Susie, but I'm loving you.
Same. One of the tricks is not to believe what your thoughts are telling you. Exactly. Believe your intuition, but if you have thoughts and that monkey mind going, you're not good enough.
Exactly.
They won't like you. Exactly. They didn't like what you just said. You should have said this, or whatever the monkey mind is. Recognize it and say, you know what? No. And let those thoughts go. You are not your thoughts. That's a really good mantra. You are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts. You're not that story that you created. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I often say it's always the thought behind the thought, because that's our original thought that we took to be our truth. And we just try to live up to it. And it's just not true. Yes. I am so excited about this interview with you. What do you do and how do you move through creative blocks? And so, in other words, when you find yourself blocked, what are some of the things that you do to move through that?
Yeah. So many people, I think I'm talking about writers I know, is a good example, because people it's actually got a whole name, writer's block. So people start writing and they go, I've hit a block. I don't know what to do. For me, these blocks are like energy blocks, like energy system that runs through our body. And when we clear those blocks, we are actually healing ourselves. Very often our heart might be blocked. Our senses are around the solar plexus, emotionally blocked, which will impact our relationships. We may have blockages within our gut system, whatever. So for me, creative blocks map into energetic and emotional blocks. Really useful to identify. So how do you clear blocks? First of all, you identify you've got one. You go, okay, I'm having trouble doing this. Have a look at what's going on to create that block. And in the unraveling of this is deep level healing. You can change your life using the signposts of blocks. Blocks will show you where you've got these disturbances and what needs to be cleared for you to open yourself to life. If you have a blocked area for love, for example, once you've identified that, work through it, and we'll speak about how you do that in a minute. But once you've worked through it and you open the heart, you lose those blocks, life changes like this. Suddenly, you are lovable, love comes to you, love comes out from you to others. So you're looking at life transformation here. I learned about blocks when I was learning about healing myself, and transformation, which I was doing before I got ill. So I was learning techniques like theta healing, NLP. I'm a coach, so I was learning all sorts of techniques about how to get people to identify blocks and deal with them. In this little book, I talk about I split it into chapters. The first habit is it's habits, 7 habits of getting creative. The first one, fears and blocks and how to overcome them. There's a whole chapter on it. I give techniques for how to clear your blocks. And I've learned about this extensively through the people I've worked with over the years, and I've got it down. So it's a good thing to decide I want to clear my blocks and then get up and do it. And the good news is, can we clear blocks? Yes, we can. We can. And it's an inside job. It's an inside job.
What, out of all the people that you work with, all these creative minds and energies and including yourself, what is the one common denominator?
For creativity, I think it's connectivity. For me, creativity and connectivity go together. Okay. So, for example, if I'm meditating and I'm connecting with this big unified field, people have many different names for it. Could be God, could be the universe. It could be any number of names that we all have. Culturally, there are so many different ways of exploring this. But we all understand, if I'm starting to talk about the unified field and collective consciousness and this bigger force that directs our lives, we understand what that is for our own selves, whatever words. And sometimes those words that we describe this phenomenon with can be triggering for people because they think of religion or they think of extremism or something like this doesn't feel comfortable. So it doesn't matter what your word is, but I think we would all agree as human beings there is something bigger than us at work. Yeah. So when you look at great creatives, what I find is that they have an extraordinary ability, or I don't want to say that connecting to this big force is easier or some people are better at it than others. We can all get there. Okay. We can all connect. What it involves, for example, I found my connection when I began meditating, when I began to really quiet my mind after I'd had a big relationship breakup. I'd had a baby and a child. I was a mum and I had all sorts of chaos going on in my life. My mum was dying and I was really in a pickle. And a friend of mine said, why don't you try meditating? So I did. I thought, I'm one of those people, I can't meditate. I've got a busy life. I haven't really got time. I don't really know how to do it. And I certainly won't be able to sit still for long enough. But when I did, my brain went off like a firecracker the first time I meditated. And it was so happy with me for giving it space and a bit of discipline to calm itself down. And it was then that I realized, wow, there are these technologies. These are ancient technologies from every culture, going back ancient Egypt to the Greeks, to all these societies around these really beautiful places around the world. We know, like prayer, meditation, mindfulness, quieting the mind, all of these different things all mean one thing, is that we can get connected. Yeah. I had an interesting conversation before I wrote this book with Paul McCartney, icon, great songwriter of our times and loved by the whole world. He was a Beatle, for goodness sake.
Yes,
he told me when he went to India with the band and they were learning with Maharishi, they were learning TM meditation in an ashram in India. And he told me this beautiful story. I remember it vividly. He and I were standing under an oak tree in Sussex, near where our kids went to school together. And he knew that I was into meditation. I said, tell me what it was like in India. And he said, yes, I will. When we were in India and I was learning how to meditate, I went to sleep many times during that trip when I was learning. And I would sleep and then I would wake up, and then fully formed came these songs. And these songs were the greatest Beatles songs that have ever been written and that have lasted decades, and the world loves. He got given them, and all he had to do was lean over and write it down. They came in fully formed. That to me is an example of connection with this huge unified field in which everything is, and we can simply go and collect things when we calm our minds. So this is a beautiful story of how one of the greatest songwriters of our time and musicians of our time, he got his lyrics, and it was by quietening the mind and connecting to this beautiful collective field.
So what I'm hearing you say is that when we quieten our minds, we are able to connect with our creativity.
Exactly.
That is always there, and it's just simply waiting on us.
Yes, it is. It is. One other friend, a friend of mine, Katie Tunstall, who's a songwriter and singer, beautiful Scottish woman who's done brilliantly with her singing career. She told me that when she writes lyrics, it's like jumping up and catching little wisps that are clouds passing by, and she might grab them and so might someone else. And this is a common phenomenon. Good ideas drop in at the same time. Who catches them? Who walks with them? Who goes off and weaves them into a nice tapestry? That's the important thing. Is
who trusts
all these ideas? All these ideas are floating around. We can just go up and bring them down and do something with them. And
everything starts with an idea, right?
Yeah. And I would say to people who are looking to get creative is dump the ideas about whether you're creative or not. I'm telling you that you are. Okay. And just allow it and work with it and have a go. I was a rubbish writer at school. I was terrible. I failed all my English exams. And then I was told not to take the big exam at the end of our school career because I would pull down the grades. Here I am, a published writer, and many authors I'm friends with were also rubbish in the early days. But I began to practice writing because I needed to for my job. I was working in PR and I had to write very fast press releases like this, really, really quick. And I did it day after day, week after week. And before I knew it, I was a blooming good writer. That wasn't installed in me originally. I was terrible.
Wow.
So we can develop, we can create and find our artistry and find our inner artist. And the good news is that when we do, we begin to heal ourselves on a deep level. Creativity and healing are very connected.
Yes. I would think that was true. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you heal yourself and let go of all of those fears or those doubts or the things that people say that we've taken to be our truth and just let that go. I remember my mom saying things to me, and what I really have come to know is that was her own pain. People can't give you what they've not given themselves. And so if they have not healed themselves, you cannot really expect them to maybe see you, encourage you, support you, because they have not given it to themselves. Because this is about self-care, right? This summit. And a lot of us are caretakers, but we don't take care.
Yeah.
Our cups are empty. And so this gives us the opportunity to fill our own cups. We don't even know what's lurking inside of us to come out.
No. And I do have a sense that we are all infinite.
Yes.
Consciousness is infinite. And our capacity for being brilliant is potentially infinite. So why not let's lean into that, assume that's the case, and live life accordingly. Life is meant to be fun, blissful, special, connected. We are meant to be in social communion with others. We're meant to help others and ask for help ourselves. That's one thing I think we all need to learn really well for self-care is learn to ask for help. I was always terrible at this. I was Miss Independent. I will do it myself. I could do this. I didn't feel able to ask others for help. Now, after being ill, for example, I had so much support and help around me. It made people feel really good. It helped them in their lives to be able to give me care, give me support. And I've learned now that if you need help, if you're out there and you need help, ask for it. Ask for support.
And
you know people love it.
Especially for women.
Especially for women,
because we were taught to be like, I have 2 children. I have a son and I have a daughter. And with my son, I taught him to be codependent, did not realize that that's what I was doing. And with my daughter, I taught her to be independent. You know, and so as women, we're just taught we can handle it, you can do it, make it happen, keep it moving.
Yes.
And so that is one of the most difficult things ever, is to ask for help.
Yeah. And then flipping it around to the male side, I think a lot of the male energy is also, that has its own kind of inflection, in that men often have to be the ones who, or they feel like they have to be the ones to solve the problem, and so on and so on. So it might be equally, they might have their own different reasons for being unable to ask for help. But I think all of us need to take on the idea that asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength.
Yes.
One of the greatest strengths
that we have, because we were not created to be islands.
No.
We were created to interact with each other.
Yes.
And not let all these barriers stop us from, because we're all human beings.
We're all human. We're all made of the same stuff.
Yes.
When I died and went to heaven, one of the big things that I saw with my own eyes is the thing that we're taught by the great gurus and sages of our time, is that we are all one. You and I and you are all, we're all one. So how can I discriminate against you? I'm discriminating against myself.
Your own self. Exactly.
Yeah. So if we come from a place with self-care, that we are all one, we understand that the love that we want to give to others and receive ourselves is all the same transaction, is all the same thing. And we need to honor each other as if they were our own flesh and blood, because essentially we're all made from the same stuff.
The same stuff. And you know what I realize is that it starts with me. It starts with you. Honoring myself, self-care, taking care of myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And then I have something to give, and I can share, and I can interact with you. I am so excited, Susie, about meeting you. Oh my goodness, this insight that you're giving, it is just priceless. And I am just so grateful that you have the platform and that you're able to communicate it and share it, so that others will be able to begin to know the importance of self-care, the importance of meditation, and that you are creative, because you said it. You said, you're all creative, and we just need to learn how to tap into it.
Totally. And we need to give ourselves the luxury, or it's actually essential, the time for self-care. So I have a very busy life. Today, I decided that I'm going to do 2 things today, which I need to get done. The rest of the time, I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
And not feel guilty?
And not feel guilty, but actually feel like this is a gift I'm giving to myself. So I'm going to challenge the people listening. Whatever you have on this week, think about maybe taking 2 or 3 priorities that are really burning and you'd really like to get done. The rest of the time, put your feet up, relax, enjoy just being the bliss of being a human being. Allow yourself the gift of time to appreciate it. I am the girl that was given 3 weeks to live. boy, does that sharpen the mind about what you do day by day. You have to enjoy every day. Every day is a gift. You have to enjoy it. You have to really be appreciative of what you have, not keep worrying about what you don't have. We all have what we need. And to be appreciative and to really have the gratitude and to regularly say thank you to this whole life that we have, and give ourselves the time for self-care, whatever form that takes for you. It might be going in nature, it might be resting, it might be napping, it might be meditating, it might be giving help to a friend who needs it, saying hello to your neighbor and holding their hand when they're going through a tough time. Whatever it is, give it with love, give it with sincerity, give it with integrity. And when we all live this way, we are creating a society and a world that is based in love and heart. And this is how we're meant to be living as human beings. We've kind of forgotten the rules, but let's come back to this sense of heart-centered life.
This has been amazing. And I know that we could talk forever because you are so phenomenal and interesting, and your experiences are so deep. And you know, when you deal with truth connects with truth. And This has been just a soul to soul conversation. So I just want to thank you for sharing. Now, in our closing, can you just share with us how people can find you, learn more about your work and who you are? Because I know I will be following you. Matter of fact, I clicked follow before we came on. Now that I've connected with you, I'm not going to ever unconnect. So
bless you. The same. I'm the same. I'm with you.
You are amazing. You just lit up my world.
Thank you so much. So I'd love it for people to lean in. I'm active. I do a lot of stuff. So I have a website, which is susiepearl.com. I'm on Instagram a lot, Insta, Susie Pearl X. And I have a Patreon channel where I do a lot of these kind of calls and talk about life and so on. And books, I write books. So get hold of my Art of Creativity book, my latest one. But get in touch. I love talking, as we've said. I love connecting with people around the world. So let's make this world a better place. Let's connect. Let's hold hands. Let's do everything we can to make life better and to have self-care center in what we do every day.
This has been so amazing. Thank you so very much. I send you so much love and light, that your light continues to shine so that others will be able to tap into this opportunity to just discover who they really are. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you so much, Alfreda. Complete joy to talk to you. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And thank you. All right. Much love to everybody listening.
Thank you so much.